Let's go. It's time to leave it on the field, because it's game time.
Hey, how you doing? This is Garrett Wolfe for the Chicago Bears, and you're watching Jack FM 104.3.
Well, we want to welcome you again to Monday Night Live at Joe's Bar on Weed Street. We want to thank our sponsors from Jack FM, some of whom are with us tonight, and everybody else out here at Joe's Bar, and those watching at home on Fox Chicago, myfoxchicago.com. My name is Corey McPherrin. Our special guest tonight, third-year running back and special teams ace, and a Chicago native who is the all-time leading rusher for Northern Illinois University. A warm welcome for Mr. Garrett Wolfe. You had him all the way for the second week in a row. Do I have that right, Garrett, yesterday in Seattle?
Yeah, definitely did.
This is, I mean, one of the questions we were talking last night on our broadcast on Fox, and I said to Tom, should Bears fans, Tom Waddle, should Bears fans be celebrating or feeling a little uneasy about this win in terms of, you know, you're down 13 points, you have to come back against a team decimated by injury, but then again, on the road, any win is a win, right? I mean, what's walking away from that? How are you supposed to feel?
Well, in this league, any win is a win. As bad as we played in the first half, to only be down 13-0, I think it was 13-0, correct?
Yeah.
The 13-0, I think was an accomplishment at that point because of how bad we were playing. And you know, for us to come back and be able to win that football game on the road, especially up in Seattle, where it's probably the worst place to play in the NFL because of the fans, that they really know how to get involved with the game, and that adds another dimension that you have to fight with. And for us to be able to come back and win that game, said a lot about it.
Did the neon glow-in-the-dark green uniforms throw you off a little bit?
Yeah, that as well as the sun. That as well as the sun kind of, got in our eyes a little bit. But once we got used to that, we were ready to go.
The final drive, you take over, the Bears offense takes over, about 5 minutes to go. Was there any doubt in your mind that Jay Cutler would lead that team down for the winning score?
No doubt at all. One thing that I did, doubt was whether we were going to kick a field goal or score 6 points. But there was no doubt in my mind that we were going to score.
Yeah. Now, obviously, you're on the offensive side and special teams, but the idea that Lovey is so much more of a hands-on guy in terms of the defense this year, he seems more maybe invested in the defense than ever. Is there some kind of dynamic there that you're noticing that's developing?
It's definitely obvious that he's more invested in the defense because I think he's taken over as the defensive game coordinator, and he spends more time with those guys, keeps them in meetings longer, and he keeps all of us in meetings longer this year, which is, I think, it's paid off thus far.
Your role more and more has become as a special teams ace, and last year 21 tackles, I believe, to lead the club, and didn't even play in 3 games, I want to say. How do you go from being a guy used to carrying the rock and being a go-to guy to kind of sucking it up and playing the role of special teams guy? Is that a difficult thing from an ego point of view? Do you have to tuck that away and just say, hey, this is what I got to do? And then how do you become kind of in love with it, which I think you've kind of turned into that kind of a guy, right?
Well, I think the main thing is just, I pride myself on being a football player. And, having the opportunity to go out and play special teams, I get to show that I am more than just a running back. But I can go out there and do what's needed of me, whether that's blocking the guy, tackling the guy, chasing the guy down. And I pride myself on being able to show that versatility. And, the more you can do in this league, the better off you'll be in the long run.
You get down there and you get after it, obviously, but describe it a little more detail about how it kind of works and what your job is.
Well, it all depends on the phase. Like, I think this phase that I'm on the most is punt.
Yeah.
And on punt, I'm the personal protector, which means I call out the protections, which, when they're bringing 7-man fronts or 6-man fronts or 8-man fronts, I send the center and the guards as well as the tackles in the different directions so we can pick up the blitz. And on that phase, we also have to not only pick up the protection, but we have to get downfield and stop the returner from getting the big play. And I think that's the phase that I enjoy the most besides kickoff. And on kickoff, I'm the L1. I'm kind of the last line of defense, a fold guy. And basically, I'm supposed to save the day if the return breaks. I'm supposed to go run the guy down and keep him from scoring a touchdown. But I like to throw my head in there, get a little bit of the action as well.
I'll bet you do. Now, one of the criticisms, or one of the things about the Bears so far through 3 games that has a lot of people worried, obviously, is the rushing game. Right now, it's 2.8 yards per carry, which ranks 28th in the league. Obviously, not where you want to be. I'll ask you, what do you think the problem is, and do you think it's something that fans need to worry about, or is this something just what the defenses gave you in these first 3 weeks, and that's the way it is for now?
I think that's just the way it is for right now. Just like you said, the defense has given us the passing game, and that's something that Jay's become an exploit. And at this league, not too many teams can do both very well. And at this point, we're taking advantage of what they're giving us. We're trying to score as many points as possible, but the run game will have to pick up because that's the staple of the Chicago Bears is definitely running the football.
Yeah. What this must mean to your folks and your family to have you close by and to enjoy your success, it must be huge.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I just was telling you earlier, I got the opportunity to go see my family today. And not a lot of people, on my team can go home and see their parents on a Monday on a day off. And being here is, it's an opportunity that I could have never imagined having. And I enjoy every moment of it.
I'll bet you do. Hey, who did you, growing up, who did you look at as people you thought of in the NFL or in college? Boy, said, "Boy, I want to try to play like him." Guys you admired in the league. Barry Sanders.
Yeah. The things that he was able to accomplish with his feet, and how soft-spoken he was off the field. You never heard a lot from Barry Sanders. He let his play do the talking for him, and he always led by example. And his career, I could go on and on talking about the many great runs that he's had. I think one of my favorite runs, unfortunately, was against the Bears. Against the Bears, up the right sideline, and I think he broke about 6 or 7 tackles.
Yeah.
And took it in, but he's the guy that I've always admired.
A question: going into the draft, did you have any idea that the Bears were looking at you, and how did you feel getting drafted by your hometown team?
Going into the draft, I remember I came up to Hallis Hall for a pre-draft workout. I think it was probably mid to late March. And up until that point, I had no idea because a lot of times they say with teams that are very interested in you, they won't even sit down and have a conversation with you. They'll just call you out of the blue. But I came up, had a private workout, and everything went well, but that was as far as I knew. And then I remember that night of the draft. I remember I couldn't sleep, couldn't do much, and I got up out of my apartment, I went to McDonald's, and in DeKalb, there's this main road, Andy Glidden Road. Yeah. And I'm headed back up Andy Glidden Road towards my apartment, and my agent, Rick Smith, calls me. And he's like, "Turn on the radio." I'm like, "What am I turning on the radio for?" He's like, "Well, you just got drafted by the Bears." So, I go off on him, like, "No, this is not funny. Like, this is the worst joke that I've ever heard because, this is my life at this point." And he's like, "No, I'm serious." And about 20 seconds later, I get a call from Greg Gabriel and Lovie Smith, and it was all real.
That's I never heard that story. Well, you were watching? Why weren't you watching?
Because you just never want to get caught up in that.
Okay, all right.
It's the longest day of your life. I swear, it's the longest day of my life. I remember everything that I did that day. And I just didn't want to watch, the draft for 12 hours and seeing guys that I felt I may have been better than go before me. You just don't want to get caught up in that.
Yeah. And, okay, so Greg Gabriel calls and tells you officially you've been drafted. Who's the first call? What's the first call you make after that?
Call my mom. And
good for you.
But the funny thing is, my mom, she's so used to bill collectors calling the house, she wouldn't answer. So she didn't answer the phone, so I called my aunt. And my aunt was actually on the phone with my mom. And my mom wouldn't click over. And I told my aunt, and she told my mom. And, it was a very exciting night.
And the rest is history. Ladies and gentlemen, Garrett Wolfe, our special guest, Monday Night Live at Joe's Bar. Garrett, nice job. Good to see you, buddy.
Thank you.
Good luck to you. Best of luck. Thank you.
You gonna leave it on the field, or you gonna leave it inside? You gonna leave it or something in your tank, or you gonna do what champions do? Leave nothing. Leave nothing.